And hello everyone, welcome back to the Gym Challenge Summer Series for our first tournament in Regulation D in person. And we are back here for round number 3. I am Jesus Coronel still here commentating this wonderful tournament here, and we're going to see some very crazy teams right now. As we're going to see on the screen, we're going to have 2 new trainers coming up into our arsenal, and we're going to see Abigail Watson on the screen. In her perspective, we're going to see Reggie Drago, Indeedee, Armarouge, Great Tusk, Goldango, and the Tornadus for her. And for Angel Torres, his team, pretty standard for the most part. It looks like Amoongus, Cresselia, Tornadus, Iron Hands, Watermane, and Urshifu. Crazy teams coming up from both these trainers, and I'm very interested to see Abigail's team because a lot of things could go very wrong for her if she doesn't get the right setup. Both these trainers have a Tornadus. And then she also has Indeedee Armarouge, which we saw plenty of last round. Does have the Goldango as well. Now Goldango really looks really good because nothing from Angel's side can really threaten it. I mean, other than maybe the Urshifu and the Watermane, obviously. But then you also have something like that Choice Scarf Great Tusk, which can pretty much threaten a knockout on most of Angel's Pokemon, especially that Iron Hands. And that Reggie Drago, the centerpiece of that team, if it gets by uncontested, that Dragon Fang, Dragon Energy at full HP is going to deal massive damage. But enough speaking, we are going to round number 3. We are going to our first game here between Abigail and Angel, and both these trainers are set to go. We're going to see a lot of crazy shenanigans from both these teams. And Angel, we're going to send out Iron Hands and Urshifu, and we're going to see Abigail go Indeedee Armarouge. So now, once again, we see Indeedee Armarouge lead before. Very obvious, this could be an expanding force immediately from this Armarouge, as we do see the Psychic Seed activate on the Indeedee Race's special defense stat by 1 stage. And looking in this Armarouge here, it looks like it's a pretty free turn to go for that expanding force, which does threaten puts that 5 defense knockout on both these Pokemon. And Urshifu does not have enough. It does not have a focus sash. I know there's not a lot of them do anyway. And then the Iron Hands, while it will be able to take an attack, it's not going to be able to go for the fake out. It's not going to be able to stun any of these Pokemon for 1 turn. You have free reign just to go for that expanding force, and it probably baits a Terra from Angel, as we're going to see it come out right now. Who does he preserve more, the Iron Hands or the Urshifu? It's going to be the Urshifu that's going to go ahead and Terrasilize into that water type to escape that Terrasilization and make sure it's not weak that Psychic anymore. And we're going to see Indeedee go for it to follow me. Doesn't want Urshifu to threaten the Armarouge with its water type attacks, especially that Surging Strikes, which comes out now with that Mystic Water and Terrasilization and the 3 critical hits. Oh, this might be close. That's a good amount of damage on the first hit. Here's hit number 2. Oh, this will be close. Is the Indeedee going to survive the turn? It does! On 5 HP. Good survival there on the Indeedee, and there's the expanding force. It's going to do a lot of damage. 1 hit knocks wow, it just knocks out the Urshifu in 1 hit. That's how bad its special defense stat is. Oh wow, it's really not that especially bulky. Iron Hands was able to survive just barely, but if it went for that heavy slam into the Indeedee slot, down goes the Indeedee, and Armarouge got here relatively scot-free and took Urshifu with it quickly. Oh my goodness, and oh my god, there is a Reggie Drago in the back. There is a Reggie Drago in the back. Great Tusk looks safer though, because Reggie Drago, there is something like that Fluttermane in the back for Angel, then it spells trouble for something like that Reggie Drago. And there comes that Fluttermane. There's no real room to go for that Dragon type attacks, as now Great Tusk comes into play. And there is no booster rating on this Fluttermane, as I can tell you right now from the open T sheet. It's actually a Choice Specs Fluttermane, so it's not meant to be bulky, but it can knock out this Armarouge should it choose to. But this Great Tusk is Choice Scarf, so it does threaten a 1-hit knockout thanks to something like that Headlong Rush that could come into the Fluttermane's way. But also, it could just try to secure a knockout on his Iron Hands, but I think Headlong Rush plus Expanding Force is pretty safe, or you could just straight up Protect. The world is Abigail's oyster, as She has immense offensive pressure here. Yep, you don't want to be in the situation where that Fluttermane wants to be fainted against something like that Regidrago, and we're gonna see a terrestrialization come out from Abigail. And this appears to be the Armourouge into the grass type. It is gonna be the Armourouge going into grass. So now you are no longer taking neutral damage from that wild charge, but also more importantly, you are no longer super effective to that just Shadow Ball. Here's a Headlong Rush going into the Amoonguss, going to go ahead and do half its HP, going to lower its defenses, and yeah, does the Rocky Helmet trigger here? It does trigger because Headlong Rush is a contact move. Here's an Expanding Force, it's going to be a double knockout. Quickly! And, oh, okay, we don't need that critical hit, it'll tweak the poison anyway. And now, I think Angel just, I don't think he wins the game because Headlong Rush is 100% accurate. You cannot double knock out the Pokemon in time. So yeah, explosive start from Abigail, and Angel gets immediately punished for that Terra as it barely missed a knockout in the Indeedee, which would have provided important damage to that Armourouge. And now we're just going to see Fluttermane just suffer in this battlefield because of that Expanding Force. Headlong Rush, will this knock out the Fluttermane in one hit? It does not! That's really good information to know because going into game number 2, Fluttermane can survive another hit. Here's a Shadow Ball. This probably does take a knockout because of that -2 special defense drop it took. Oh my goodness. What's with these unnecessary critical hits today? Those 2 critical hits back to back did not matter in each scenario. First, we're going to see the Expanding Force take the knockout onto the Fluttermane, and we are going to game 2. Abigail wins the first game in very much an explosive way. Burst damage for days. Angel's Pokemon just weren't able to take any hits from that Expanding Force. And we're going now. I really don't know what answers Angel has for something like that Indeedee Armourouge because you don't have any way to resist it other than maybe potentially Cresselia. Fluttermane might be able to tank at least a Expanding Force, but I think Angel needs to go for that Cresselia and get that get Cresselia into play because that Cresselia is going to be very important for Angel to retain because if it probably is his only answer to that Expanding Force because if you look at his team, 3 of his Pokemon are weak to Psychic types. Cresselia resists, Tornado's going to take a lot of damage, Fluttermane going to take a lot of damage. And we even saw from that Urshifu, even though it's Terrestrialized away from the weakness, it still took a one-hit knockout because of that bad special defense stat and that big amount of boost that it got. So Abigail in the driver's seat, you know, her play with that Indeedee Armourouge is just showing that, yeah, if these Indeedee Armourouge teams should tell you anything, it's still alive and doing well. Dark types, pretty rare because it's like 1 or 2 Pokemon, so you're pretty much safe to do so. And now we're going to see if Angel can find an answer to that Psy Spam and that Expanding Force. Here we go, game number 2. Angel gonna go ahead and lead Tornadus and Fluttermane, actually. And we're gonna see Armourouge and Indeedee for Abigail. Abigail staying to her roots, making sure she gets that Indeedee Armourouge setup going. Angel trying something new with his Fluttermane Indeedee. Sadly though, Shadow Ball is not a safe option because Follow Me just redirects into the normal type, which will not be able to affect it. That's Tornadus in a weird spot because it cannot go for the taunt thanks to the Psychic Terrain on the grounded Pokemon next to Prankster being blocked by the Psychic Terrain's blockage of priority. It's probably just left going for that Bleak Wind Storm, which can just miss, and we're gonna see the Armourouge just protect. Does the Indeedee protect as well? No, does not protect here, and here's the Bleak Wind Storm coming into this Indeedee. Will it connect? It does connect here. It's gonna take a decent amount of damage thanks to that Psychic Terrain boost. And there's the Moonblast, a double up into the Indeedee, gonna go and comfortably take that well, and there's the Trick Room setup. Angel now in trouble because the speed is not in his favor thanks to how slow Armourouge and Indeedee are compared to Fluttermane and Tornadus. And yet we do see the immediate click of that Expanding Force. And I think this Indeedee, yes, Indeedee just went for the Dazzling Gleam here. Goes for it. He's going to get some chip damage on both these Pokemon. Here goes the Expanding Force. Will this knock out either Pokemon right now? It does! A critical hit on the Fluttermane! What is going on? The critical hit, I don't know if it mattered or not onto the Fluttermane, but it does take a double knockout onto the Tornadus and the Fluttermane. And I'm looking at the screen right now on the display. I think Angel might have already lost this game, and we're gonna get a very swift. Maybe, yeah, there's an Iron Hands in the back that needs to Terrasilize away from the Psychic type to make sure it doesn't get hit by this Expanding Force. Oh no, it's Urshifu as well! Oh no! And we do know this Urshifu does not have the capability of limiting an Expanding Force, so I think this Terrasilization has to go to this Iron Hands or Angel, and I think this is over already! What? I already assumed this to be over because of how much damage this Expanding Force is doing to both Pokemon, but the Terrasilization has to go to this Iron Hands from what I'm interpreting here. Angel immediately goes for this Terrasilization. If we already know this Urshifu is not going to take a hit, yep, we are going to see it to this Iron Hands into the Grass type. It was able to take an Expanding Force at least. Urshifu probably in a line of fire on that Expanding Force. Can't believe Expanding Force is everywhere now, and there is the Protect onto the Urshifu, trying to stall out Trick Room for as long as it possibly can. Indeed, going for the Follow Me to make sure Urshifu's Searching Strikes, if it ever survived and went for it, doesn't go into the Indeedee slot. And here is the Wild Charge into the Indeedee. Gonna go ahead and sacrifice itself and make sure that Abigail gets in something for free. And that's going to be a bit of recoil damage. Here is the Expanding Force into the Protect the Urshifu and into this Iron Hands. Will this do half because of that Assault Vest that's holding? It will not do half, so Iron Hand's able to take it pretty comfortably, but now susceptible to that Armor Cannon. And here is the Regidrago. We get to see Regidrago onto the stream here. Regidrago has the ability Dragon's Maw, which powers up its Dragon type attacks by 1.5, and thanks to Dragon Energy, it's at full power thanks to Regidrago being at full HP. And now under Trick Room, it only needs to worry about the Iron Hands. Because if Iron Hands doesn't do enough damage to that Regidrago, Dragon Energy is going to go ahead and do loads of damage and secure the game for Abigail. I'm really happy for her. She brought out the Regidrago. I wanted to see this Regidrago. Angel does get the double protect. He does get the double protect, so he was going to survive another turn longer. This Iron Hands is faster. Go ahead and get that Drain Punch onto the Regidrago. Going to get a bit of HP back. And this is probably Expanding Force plus Dragon Energy, unless Abigail went for the safe and play and go for the Dragon Pulse, but instead it is that Dragon Energy going to come out. How much damage? Is this reduced damage because of the fact that it took some damage? It is going to go ahead and survive that pretty nice. And an Expanding Force as well comes into this in protecting Urshifu, which got the double protect, and into the Iron Hands. Not enough for the knockout. It's faster than both these Pokemon in Trick Room. I think this is the last turn though. Urshifu needs a triple protect if it were to survive. If it gets the triple protect, I think we're calling this game rigged. And Angel's already on his way to Vegas right now. He already landed his double protect. He probably needs a triple protect to survive and live to see another day and hopefully go into that game that he desperately wants to see here. Abigail in the comfortable driver's seat. Urshifu goes for the triple protect. It does not land. So it is now vulnerable to all these attacks. Drain Punch into the Regidrago. Gonna go ahead and put it at a very low HP to make sure that Dragon Energy is not doing any good amount of damage. Does adapt, go for that Dragon Pulse into the Urshifu. It is a one-hit knockout. Another one-hit knockout for Abigail. Now from the Regidrago, and now this Expanding Force is single target thanks to the knockout, and Iron Hands quickly goes down, and that is the quickest 2-0 I've probably ever seen in my entire casting career. Abigail, you are a phenom. A quick 2-0 for Abigail Watson. She wins round number 3, 2-0 with that Indeedee Armored strategy. Angel really just did not have an answer to it, that duo, and that's just once again, I need to reiterate this for round number 2. Just because Dark type Pokemon exists doesn't mean that Indeedee Armor is suddenly all bad now. It's just Jianpao and Chiyu. Those two Pokemon are the only gatekeepers for that Side Span team, unless, of course, you don't have either Pokemon on the team, in which case you saw what just happened. And just like for Angel, if he needed speed control that entire game, because without it he didn't have any chance to win any of his games, because as soon as the Trick Room went up, he had no speed control. Iron Hands was able to tank a couple of hits, but Urshifu was just left protecting the entire battle. And I think if he did get that triple protect, he probably would have been able to at least maybe win this game, because that would have been probably the most Vegas thing you probably ever see. and that just shows you had to play to your win conditions. So get your side spam counters ready. We're gonna take another break. We're gonna go into round 4 soon enough. After this break, we'll be right back.